You are just 5 seconds away from changing your life. That's it. 5 seconds. It sounds almost ridiculous, doesn't it? That something so small, so simple could shift everything. But that's exactly how it works. Every day, we are faced with moments, tiny fleeting moments, where we know exactly what we need to do. We know we should speak up, take action, move forward, or take a risk, but we hesitate. We pause. And in that pause, doubt creeps in, fear takes over, and we pull back. We let the moment slip away, and with it, we let go of the opportunity to change. The truth is, it's not the big decisions that shape our lives the most. It's the small ones, the quick ones, the ones that happen in 5 seconds when you either choose courage or you choose comfort. And it is in those moments where everything is decided. Think about it. How many times have you known exactly what you wanted to do, but you didn't act on it? You wanted to start that conversation, apply for that job, speak your mind, or stand up for yourself, but you waited, you hesitated. And just like that, the moment was gone. That's how fast life moves. That's how fast your future is shaped. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't pause while you gather courage. It keeps moving, and if you don't move with it, you miss your chance. But here's the good news. You don't have to feel ready to act. You don't need to be fearless. You just need 5 seconds of courage. That's it. 5 seconds of bravery to do the thing you know you need to do before your mind talks you out of it, before fear wins, before comfort pulls you back. You already know what you need to do. You've always known. And now it's about acting on it, fast. This isn't about being impulsive. It's about beating hesitation. It's about understanding how your brain is wired to protect you from risk, from discomfort, from anything unfamiliar. It's about realizing that if you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Because courage doesn't feel comfortable. Change doesn't feel easy. Growth doesn't feel safe. And if you want to change your life, you have to act before your mind convinces you not to. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Speak, stand, step forward. Do it before fear has a chance to stop you. That's how simple it is. That's how powerful it is. Every great decision, every bold move, every change you admire started with a moment where someone chose to act despite fear, despite doubt, despite hesitation. And you can do the same. Your life can change in 5 seconds. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, but now, in this moment, in the next 5 seconds. Because change isn't about luck or timing or destiny. It's about the decision you make right now. So, what are you waiting for? Count it down. Take the step. Change your life. 5 seconds. That's all it takes to interrupt the cycle that's been holding you back. You know the one, the cycle of overthinking, of waiting for the perfect moment, of doubting your ability to handle the challenge ahead. We tell ourselves stories to keep ourselves comfortable. We say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I need more time to prepare, or I'm not ready yet. But deep down, you know that's not true. You know that waiting isn't going to make you more prepared. Waiting isn't going to give you courage. Waiting isn't going to make the fear go away. The only thing waiting does is keep you stuck, living a life that feels safe but small. And that's not the life you were meant for. You were meant to be bold. You were meant to grow, to stretch, to break through the walls you've built around yourself. But you cannot break through walls if you won't even take the first step. And that step, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be planned out. It just has to happen. 5 seconds. One decision, one action. That's how it starts. That's how change begins. Because here's the reality. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. It's wired for comfort, for predictability, for survival. And anything that feels risky, uncertain, or uncomfortable, your brain interprets as danger. That's why fear shows up, why doubt creeps in, why excuses sound logical. But here's the thing. Danger and discomfort aren't the same. Discomfort is a sign of growth, of stepping into something new. It's the place where progress lives. But if you wait for the moment when discomfort disappears, you'll wait forever. And every time you hesitate, every time you pull back, every time you tell yourself not yet, you reinforce that fear. You teach your brain that it's right to be afraid. You train yourself to believe that comfort is the goal, but comfort is not the goal. Growth is. Progress is. A life that feels meaningful and exciting and full, that is the goal. And that only comes from doing the hard things, from acting before you're ready, from pushing through the resistance, from counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and moving. Because action kills fear. Action silences doubt. Action builds confidence. Not thinking, not planning, not waiting. Action. It's in these tiny moments, these 5-second decisions, where you have the power to shape your entire future. It's when you choose to get out of bed instead of hitting snooze. It's when you choose to raise your hand in a meeting, even though your voice shakes. It's when you choose to speak up for yourself, even when it feels easier to stay silent. It's when you decide to go to the gym, start that project, ask that question, take that risk. These decisions don't seem big in the moment, but they are everything, because every small action adds up. Every choice either moves you closer to the life you want or keeps you stuck in the life you don't. And every time you take action, you prove something powerful to yourself. You prove that you can trust yourself. You prove that you can handle the discomfort. You prove that fear doesn't control you. And the more you act, the more courage you build. The more you move, the stronger you become. It's like building a muscle. Every rep makes you stronger. Every action makes you braver. Every 5-second decision changes you. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know how the entire journey will unfold. You just need to move one step, one moment, one decision, and then another, and then another. Because clarity comes from action. Confidence comes from action. Growth comes from action. And every moment you hesitate, you hand your power over to fear. You let the moment pass. And with it, you let opportunity pass. But when you move, when you step into the discomfort, when you choose to act despite the fear, you take your power back. You reclaim control over your life. You shape your future instead of waiting for it to happen to you. You design a life that feels exciting, fulfilling, and real. And you do it 5 seconds at a time. Think about how many times you've stood at the edge of a decision, feeling that tug of hesitation, how many times you've wanted to speak up, to take the risk, to try something new, but you paused. You hesitated. You waited. And just like that, the moment passed. And afterward, you felt it. The regret, the disappointment, the frustration with yourself. You knew you missed the chance. But here's the thing. It's not because you weren't capable. It's not because you didn't have what it takes. It's because you let fear win. You gave fear those precious 5 seconds, and that's all it needed. Because hesitation is the kiss of death for dreams. It is the silent killer of potential. And the only way to beat it is to move faster than fear. To act before your brain talks you out of it. To count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Because fear hates action. Doubt hates momentum. Hesitation can't survive when you take control and act with courage. And this isn't about giant leaps. It's about small, simple choices that build into something extraordinary. It's about saying yes when you want to say no. It's about stepping forward when every part of you wants to retreat. It's about being just a little bit braver than your fear. And every time you do, you build a new habit. You build a new identity. You become the kind of person who acts, who moves, who doesn't let fear win. And that's how you change your life. Not overnight, not all at once, but 5 seconds at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. That's how you become stronger. That's how you build confidence. That's how you create a life that feels meaningful and alive. Because it's not the big moments that define us. It's the small ones, the quiet ones, the ones no one sees but you. The moments where you choose action over comfort, courage over fear, progress over perfection. And here's the truth, you already have the power. You already know what you need to do. You've always known. The only thing standing in the way is hesitation. You can beat hesitation. You can interrupt it. Or you can take control. All it takes is 5 seconds. That's it. 5 seconds to decide. 5 seconds to act. 5 seconds to change everything. You are one decision away from a completely different life. One moment of courage away from opening a door you've been too afraid to touch. One action away from breaking free of the patterns that have held you back for too long. And it starts now. It starts with the next decision. The next moment where you feel fear creep in. The next moment where doubt whispers, wait. Or don't wait, don't hesitate, don't let fear have its way. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Do it scared. Or do it uncertain, do it unsure, but do it anyway. Because the life you want is on the other side of that decision. The confidence you crave is on the other side of action. The freedom you desire is waiting for you to act. And you are stronger than you think, braver than you believe, more capable than you realize. You just have to prove it to yourself. One moment at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to move, willing to act, willing to trust that courage grows when you choose it, willing to believe that even small steps can lead to big changes, willing to take control of your life and shape it into something you're proud of, because it is possible. It is within reach. It is waiting for you to take the first step. And that step, it starts with 5 seconds. So don't wait, don't hesitate. Don't let fear steal one more moment from you. Count it down, step forward, change your life. You are not born to live a life of hesitation. You are not designed to stand still, stuck between wanting more and fearing the steps it takes to get there. Life is not about staying comfortable, about shrinking from challenges, about settling for less than what sets your soul on fire. Life is about movement. It's about stepping forward, even when every part of you wants to freeze. It's about doing the things that scare you, the things that stretch you, the things that force you to grow. And that growth, it starts with a single decision, a single moment where you choose courage over comfort, action over hesitation. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. It requires you to face the resistance head on. It requires you to take action before fear has the chance to settle in. Because fear is always going to be there, waiting to catch you in the pause, waiting for you to hesitate long enough that it can whisper doubts into your mind. But you don't have to give it that chance. You can move faster than fear. You can take action before it takes control. You can count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. You can make the call, send the message, walk into the room, ask the question, take the risk. And in doing so, you prove to yourself that fear doesn't own you. You own you. And the truth is, you already know what you need to do. You don't need another plan. You don't need to wait for more motivation. You don't need to ask for permission. You just need to act, because clarity is not going to come from thinking about it. Confidence is not going to come from wishing for it. Change is not going to come from waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. It never has. There's no such thing as ready. There's no such thing as the perfect time. There is only now. Only this moment, only this decision. And the people who change their lives are not the ones who waited until they felt confident. They're the ones who took action while they were still scared, still uncertain, still uncomfortable. They're the ones who chose to move, even though it felt terrifying. They're the ones who understood that hesitation kills dreams, but action creates momentum. They acted fast. They decided quickly. They didn't let fear grow root. They didn't give doubt room to breathe. They acted, and they figured it out as they went. And you can do the same. You don't need a guarantee. You don't need a promise that it will work out. You just need to trust that you can handle whatever comes next. And the only way to prove that to yourself is to take action, to step forward, to move before fear convinces you that you can't. Every goal you have, every dream you hold, every vision you carry for your life, it all comes down to these moments. These 5-second windows where you either choose to act or choose to pull back. That's how it happens. That's how lives are built. That's how legacies are shaped. It's not about huge, dramatic gestures. It's about the small, consistent choices you make every single day. It's about choosing to get up when you want to stay in bed. It's about choosing to speak when you'd rather stay silent. It's about choosing to take the risk when it feels safer to stay where you are. It's about choosing to move, to act, to try again and again and again. And each time you do, you send a message to yourself that you are someone who takes action, someone who is willing to face discomfort, someone who chooses growth. And that message becomes your identity. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to realize that you are stronger than you thought, braver than you believed, more capable than you imagined. And that shift, it changes everything. Because when you trust yourself, when you believe in your ability to take action, you start to take bigger risks. You start to pursue bigger dreams. You start to live a life that feels full and exciting and alive. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. It happens when you stop waiting for the fear to go away and start acting despite it. Because fear will always be there. Doubt will always be there. Uncertainty will always be there. But courage isn't about waiting for those things to disappear. Courage is about acting while they're still present. It's about feeling the fear and moving anyway. It's about hearing the doubt and deciding anyway. It's about embracing the discomfort and stepping forward anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is the decision that fear won't win. And every time you choose courage, you weaken fear's grip. Every time you act, you make it easier to act again. Every time you move forward, you create momentum that carries you closer to the life you want. And it all starts with 5 seconds. 5 seconds of courage, 5 seconds of action, 5 seconds of interrupting the hesitation and choosing movement instead. And here's the thing, you don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel brave. You don't have to feel confident. You just have to decide. Decide that you're done waiting. Decide that you're done letting fear call the shots. Decide that you're done living small. Decide that you're ready to create something bigger, something better, something that feels like the life you've always wanted. And then act on that decision, fast, before your brain convinces you to stay where you are, before fear grows stronger, before doubt gets louder. Because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. The longer you hesitate, the more fear takes over. But if you act fast, you beat hesitation, you silence doubt, you take control. And that control, it's everything. It's the power to shape your life. It's the power to create your future. It's the power to become the person you know you're capable of being. And it starts now. It starts with this moment. It starts with the next decision you make. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop letting fear win. Stop telling yourself that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you can't handle it. You can. You are ready enough. You are good enough. You are strong enough. You just have to prove it to yourself. And the only way to prove it is through action. Not words, not thoughts, not plans. Action, movement, doing the thing even when it feels scary. Especially when it feels scary. Because fear is a sign that you're on the edge of something important. Fear is a sign that you're about to grow. Fear is a sign that you're about to step into a new version of yourself. Don't run from that fear. Don't avoid it. Don't let it convince you to stay small. Face it, move toward it, act despite it. And when you do, you'll realize that the fear wasn't as big as it seemed, that the discomfort wasn't as unbearable as you thought, that the challenge wasn't as impossible as it appeared. You'll realize that you're capable of so much more than you believed. And that realization, it changes everything. It gives you the strength to keep going. It gives you the courage to keep trying. It gives you the power to keep building the life you want. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the fear to go away. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's your time. It's your time when you decide it is. It's your moment when you choose it is. It's your life. And you get to take control of it right now, in this moment, with this decision. So count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Move, speak, act. Do the thing. Take the step. Because 5 seconds is all it takes. 5 seconds to change your life. 5 seconds to create momentum. 5 seconds to prove to yourself that you are braver, stronger, and more powerful than your fear. That you are ready for more. That you deserve more. That you can handle more. So take the leap. Trust yourself. Do it scared. Do it unsure. Do it anyway. Because the life you want is waiting on the other side of that decision. The only question is, will you be brave enough to take it? Every single one of us reaches a point where we're standing on the edge of something greater, something that could change everything. It's not always dramatic. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's just an idea, a gut feeling, a small tug in the back of your mind that says, do it. It's the impulse to start the project, to make the move, to reach out, to speak up. But just as quickly as that impulse arrives, hesitation steps in. You start thinking, overthinking. What if I fail? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm not enough? And in that moment of hesitation, fear grows. It wraps around your ambition, your courage, your desire for something more, and it convinces you to stay right where you are. But deep down, you know that staying is not an option. Staying means accepting less. Staying means settling for comfort. Staying means turning your back on the life you know you're capable of building. That's why it's so critical to move, to act before hesitation takes over. Because hesitation doesn't just delay your progress, it destroys it, it stops momentum, it keeps you stuck. But action creates clarity, action creates confidence, action builds courage. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel fearless. You just have to move fast before your brain has a chance to build walls between you and the life you want. It doesn't matter if it's a small step. It doesn't matter if it's messy or uncertain or uncomfortable. What matters is that you take it, that you move forward, that you decide right here, right now, that you're done waiting, done hesitating, done holding back, that you're ready to be the kind of person who acts, the kind of person who moves, the kind of person who doesn't let fear dictate the course of their life. Because that's all fear is: an emotion, a reaction, a thought. It feels real, it feels heavy, but it's just noise. And the only way to silence that noise is to take action, to step forward even though you're scared, or to do the thing even though you're uncertain, to move before fear convinces you not to, because fear doesn't stop you. Hesitation does, overthinking does, waiting does. And you've waited long enough. You've hesitated long enough. You've stood still long enough. It's time to move. It's time to trust that the courage you need will show up when you act. It's time to prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fears, bigger than your doubts, greater than your excuses. And don't make the mistake of thinking this is about huge leaps. It's not. It's about small, consistent moments where you choose action over comfort. It's about deciding that you won't hit snooze one more time. It's about choosing to have that uncomfortable conversation. It's about raising your hand when you'd rather stay silent. It's about opening the door to opportunity, even when it feels terrifying. Because every time you choose action, you take back control. Every time you move forward, you remind yourself that you are in charge. Not fear, not hesitation, not doubt. You. And that power is life-changing. Because when you trust yourself to act, you start living a life that feels bold and exciting and free. You start taking bigger risks. You start believing in bigger dreams. You start stepping into a version of yourself that isn't held back by fear or hesitation. But it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by luck. It happens by choice, by action, by moving before the excuses pile up, by taking the first step even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because discomfort is a sign of growth. Discomfort is proof that you're stretching, that you're moving beyond what's safe and easy, and that's where real change happens. You cannot create a life that excites you if you're always choosing what's comfortable. You cannot grow if you're always waiting to feel ready. You cannot succeed if you're always hesitating at the edge of action. You have to move. You have to decide. You have to trust that the courage will come once you act, because that's how it works. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. And that courage, it grows stronger every time you choose it, every time you move, every time you step forward, even though you're scared. That's how confidence is built. That's how strength is built. That's how lives are transformed, one small, courageous step at a time. And it starts with 5 seconds, 5 seconds of bravery, 5 seconds of deciding that fear will not win, 5 seconds of choosing movement over hesitation, 5 seconds of taking back control. That's all it takes. 5 seconds to change your life, 5 seconds to open a door, 5 seconds to start a journey, 5 seconds to rewrite your future. And you've already wasted enough time waiting, enough time second guessing, enough time hoping that one day you'll feel ready. Or that day is today. That moment is now. You are as ready as you'll ever be. You are capable enough, strong enough, smart enough to start. And you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to know every step ahead. You just need to trust that you'll figure it out along the way. And you will. Because that's what happens when you take action. You build momentum. You gain clarity. You learn and adjust and grow. But none of that can happen if you stay still. None of that can happen if you hesitate. None of that can happen if you keep waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There's only now. There's only this moment. There's only this decision. And it's yours to make. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to let fear decide for you? Are you going to let hesitation steal another opportunity? Are you going to let doubt hold you back one more day? Or are you going to choose courage? Are you going to choose action? Are you going to choose to move, even though it feels scary, even though it feels uncomfortable? Because that's where the breakthrough is. That's where the transformation is. That's where the life you want is waiting. On the other side of fear, on the other side of action, on the other side of 5 seconds. 5 seconds of courage is all it takes to change everything, to take the first step, to open the first door, to build the momentum that carries you forward. And once you take that first step, the next one gets easier, and the next, and the next, until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Until one day you look back and realize that the life you dreamed of is the life you're living. Not because it was easy, not because you were fearless, but because you were willing to act before fear had a chance to stop you. And the truth is, you'll never feel ready. You'll never feel fearless. You'll never have total certainty. But you don't need any of that to start. You just need to be willing to trust yourself, willing to take the first step, willing to believe that you can handle whatever comes next. And you can. You can handle the risk. You can handle the discomfort. You can handle the challenge. You are capable of so much more than you believe. And the only way to prove that to yourself is to act, to move, to trust that the path will unfold once you take the first step. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't let fear decide the course of your life. Count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Do it scared. Do it unsure. Do it uncomfortable, but do it anyway. Because on the other side of that action is freedom, confidence, growth, and the life you've always wanted. It all comes down to a simple choice. A choice to move, to act, to step beyond fear and hesitation. Because the truth is, you already have everything you need within you. The strength, the courage, the determination. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to start. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now, in this moment. With one small action that breaks through the wall of doubt. With one decision that says, I'm done waiting, or I'm done hesitating, I'm ready to take control of my life. Because when you choose action, you choose growth, you choose momentum, you choose to build a life that feels bold, exciting, and true to who you are. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be flawless, it just has to be real. It just has to be you, showing up for yourself over and over again. So the next time fear whispers for you to stop, count it down, 5, 4, 3, 2,